Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward were a beloved couple in Hollywood, known for their enduring love and partnership. But like many relationships, theirs was not perfect, and a dark secret loomed over the marriage for years. In this video, we'll delve into the affair that haunted Paul Newman for the rest of his life and left him with a sense of guilt he could never quite shake off. Facts Verse presents Guilty Paul Newman Regretted His Affair His Whole Life. Paul and Joanne's illicit romance. Paul Newman's early years were marked by restlessness and a search for purpose. Born January 26, 1925 in Shaker Heights, Ohio, he grew up in a middle-class family and was the second of three sons. After high school, he briefly attended Ohio University before enlisting in the Navy during World War II, but he was discharged after 3 years due to a bout of pneumonia. He tried his hand at a variety of jobs, including selling encyclopedias, working as a door-to-door salesman, and even training as a boxer. He eventually found his way to Kenyon College in Ohio, where he studied drama and became involved in the school's theater program. It was there he discovered his passion for acting and decided to pursue it as a career. In 1951, he graduated from Kenyon and moved to New Haven, Connecticut, to study at the Yale School of Drama. Woodward and Newman's love story began in the bustling city of New York in 1952. Although their initial encounter was unremarkable, fate had more in store for them. Months after their first meeting, they found themselves sharing the stage as understudies in a Broadway production called Picnic. This time their connection was undeniable. Newman, who was already married with a family, couldn't resist Woodward's outgoing personality and Southern charm. They tried their best to keep things platonic, but the chemistry was too strong. It wasn't until they were filming The Long Hot Summer in 1957 that they gave in to their desires and started pursuing a full-blown romantic relationship. As their love affair blossomed, they discovered they had much more in common than just physical attraction. They both had successful fathers who were businessmen, but they also had complicated relationships with their mothers. Newman in particular struggled with his mother's overbearing nature. In a fit of anger, he once threw her out of a taxi and didn't speak to her for 15 years after she suggested that Woodward was having an affair with their friend Gore Vidal. Woodward and Newman's affair was incredibly passionate, and during which time they both moved to Tinseltown and won studio contracts. But their love wasn't without its challenges. Newman was still married to his first wife, Jackie Witte, and they had 3 young children together. The divorce and subsequent marriage to Woodward in 1958 left Jackie feeling betrayed and devastated, but Newman and Woodward did their best to incorporate his older children into their new family. Trouble in Paradise. As their respective paths in show business unfolded, Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward encountered different challenges and successes. While Newman was basking in the glory of critical acclaim for his performances in films like Somebody Up There Likes Me and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, co-starring alongside Elizabeth Taylor, Woodward was struggling to balance motherhood with her acting career. Despite their seemingly idyllic public image, the couple faced numerous trials in their personal life. The death of Newman's son Scott due to a drug overdose in 1978 was a significant blow, and both of them grappled with addiction and mental health issues. Newman battled alcoholism, while Woodward struggled with depression and anxiety. As they tried to navigate these tough times, they turned to therapy to seek solace and support. Newman was also rumored to have strayed from his marriage. With his status as a heartthrob and a ladies' man, he was linked to several of his co-stars and journalists throughout his career. Although he vehemently denied infidelity, he did admit to being tempted by other women. But he maintained he never acted on those impulses, citing his unwavering devotion to Woodward as the reason. Paul famously joked, "Why go out for a hamburger when you have steak at home?" Through all the highs and lows, the couple managed to stay together until Newman's passing in 2008 due to lung cancer, with Woodward following suit 6 years later at age 78. The year of Newman's death also marked their golden wedding anniversary. The legacy they left behind was one of passion, creativity, activism, and philanthropy. Their joint efforts included the founding of charitable institutions like the Hole in the Wall Gang Camp for Kids with Severe Illnesses, the Scott Newman Center for Drug Abuse Prevention, and Newman's Own, a food company that donated all its profits to a variety of causes. They were also staunch supporters of political and environmental movements such as nuclear disarmament, civil rights, animal welfare, and organic farming. Newman and Woodward were celebrated and admired by their colleagues and admirers for their artistry, honesty, and endurance. They were an anomaly in Hollywood, having weathered numerous storms together and inspiring a generation of actors and romantics. And they were also one of the most gorgeous and magnetic couples both on and off screen. Newman once famously described Woodward as, quote, the last of the great broads, while she once called him a very good egg. Posthumous Revelations. Paul Newman was more than just an actor. He was an icon and a legend, a man who left his mark on the world in ways that went beyond the silver screen. But as much as he was celebrated and adored by his fans, he was plagued by his own demons and insecurities, which he bared in his posthumous memoir, The Extraordinary Life of an Ordinary Man. In this revealing and unapologetic book, Newman pulled back the curtain on his life and career, exposing the highs and lows of his journey. He spoke candidly about his conflicted relationship with fame and celebrity, admitting he often felt trapped and suffocated by the attention and adulation that came with his success. He shared his thoughts on acting, revealing he was never entirely comfortable with it, and he saw it more as a means to an end than a calling. But perhaps the most intimate and revealing part of the memoir was his account of his marriage to Joanne, his second wife and the one he referred to as the love of his life. He described their relationship as passionate, stormy, and enduring, a union that tested their limits and pushed them to their brink, but that also brought them profound joy and fulfillment. He confessed he was deeply attracted to Woodward from the moment he met her and that she awakened a sexual hunger in him that he had never felt before. Their marriage wasn't without challenges. Newman struggled with alcoholism and temptation to commit infidelity, and the couple endured the heartbreak of losing their son. Melissa Newman, their daughter, witnessed the difficulties of their marriage, but also saw the depth of their love and commitment. Despite the struggles, Melissa said her parents never gave up on each other and fought hard to keep the relationship alive. Newman was also haunted by his decision to leave his first wife, Jackie Witte, for Woodward. He felt he had betrayed Witte and their children, and he sought therapy to come to terms with his guilt. He also had to contend with the rumors of his affairs, which he vehemently denied. Clea Newman, his daughter, described her father as a complex and conflicted man who grappled with his inner demons. But she also praised his dedication to Woodward, describing their love as magical and saying it was the foundation of their family's happiness. Throughout his memoir, Newman showed he was not a perfect man, but a man who tried to live an honest and meaningful life. He was a man who loved deeply, who struggled with flaws, and who left behind a legacy that touched the lives of countless people. Now it's time to hear from you. Did you know Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward's relationship started out as an affair? Let us know in the comments section below.